We're back, Seven Rivers Racing. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losi here on KQEG TV. Some more results coming out last weekend. State Park Speedway saw the ASA Midwest Tour make a pass through, and the 2008 champ Dan Frederickson made his first ever trip to State Park Speedway, owned by the Wimmer family, and ended up nailing down a win. Youngster Matt Tipp from Hinckley, Ohio, had a pretty bad starting spot in the feature, ended up, I think, finishing 18th, but he did take home the quick time qualifier. He even won himself a chainsaw. What does a 16-year-old do with a chainsaw?
I don't know. He's probably going to go out and put it on eBay. Maybe.
Looking at the point standings, Dan Frederickson tops the ASA Midwest Tour point standings. Skylar Holzhausen second, 1 point ahead of Jonathan Eileen. Jason Weinkauf leads the rookie standings, followed by Ty Majeski, who is 1 point ahead of Matt Tift. Of course, you've seen these guys, and you'll see them again coming up this year at Oktoberfest. Looking at the trucks, the Midwest Skag Tour Truck Championship, Jerry Wood led James Swan and Chad Knauss of Sun Prairie across the finish line to pick up that win. He's also the point leader. He's following in the footsteps of what he did last year and the year before and then the year before. I mean, that Wood Brothers racing team is simply outstanding when you look at the trucks. Next up, June 2nd, Berlin Speedway in Marty, Michigan. First time that the ASA has been back there for quite a while. They've got the Port City Race Cars 100. So nice bit of driving right there at the ASA clan.
Yeah, and they get around the Midwest really well. It's very entertaining. They're going to be here at La Crosse later on this year.
And I want to remind you, the Howie Leto 150 is June 12th at the Milwaukee Mile. Latest NASCAR Sprint Cup name to come up was Alex Aramola.
Yeah.
Along with Eric, about 4 or 5 other Sprint Cup drivers are going to be out there as well. So our guest is going to be racing in that race. So we'd like to bring in the City Auto Sales late model number 8 of Brent Kirchner coming out of La Crosse. Brent, how are you, buddy?
Hey,
good. How are you guys?
I suppose I'll shake his hand, too. It's not polite to reach across unless you got food in front of you, and then it's all right. Brent running second in late model points early in the season this year. He is also your late model dash point leader this year. And you and I talked during the offseason. Last year you had 5 feature wins?
4. 4
feature wins. And something we talked about last year, there was a point in the season that you knew you weren't going to get the point championship. You said, all we're going to do is, I'm about just to win races. This year, it's a whole different story because you and I talked quite a bit during the wintertime. This year, your focus is on the track championship.
It is, but, we're just kind of taking it one race at a time and not letting the points get, us too riled up. But, take it one race at a time, try to get some feature wins and have some fun.
Well, we're going to show you some video of last week's 6x6 dash. I love this race. This is probably the ultimate race in the state of Wisconsin. For those that don't come out, we take the 6 fastest qualifiers, the quick time qualifiers in the back row. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 rows. 2 wide, 6 laps, period. Brent, of course, leading the late model dash points this year. The 6x6 race that he was in last weekend is one of the ultimate races in the state of Wisconsin. The top 6 fastest qualifiers with your quick time car. Of course, Steve Carlson starting in the back with Brad Powell. If you look at the second row, our guest Brent Kirchner is lined up side by side with Todd Korish. Front row, Sean Paff and Mark Lamoureux. Brent, when you get into a 6x6, how much of an exciting race is that, knowing that there's just 6 cars of your same speed?
It's real exciting, you've got 6 cars, fast qualifier, they're super competitive. It's probably one of the fastest paced races of the night, the way it all folds out, and you really got to be on your game and going because, everybody obviously there wants to win it.
Now, you know that you're using up your equipment a little bit here, but you're a competitor like everybody else out there. Do you find that at some point you're got to dial back that competitiveness because you got a feature race coming up, or is it just that you're so competitive that you just want to get that win right here because of how important the 6x6 is?
It is. It's kind of the top 6 qualifiers. There's a little bit of whatever you want to call it to go with it, but it's you're wide open. You're wide open from lap 1. You got 6 laps to do it.
No lap traffic.
No lap traffic. You just go and things happen, and that's the way it is.
Well, you saw right there, Lamoureux and Paff had made some contact in the corners. Brent was in the right place at the right time, snuck underneath and got the race win. And then he had to fend off right here at the end. The 2 guys starting in the back where you've got Powell and Carlson going side by side. During a 25-lap feature, a lot of times guys look at the scoreboard to see who's behind them, especially on a restart. Do you ever scoreboard watching a 6x6 race?
No. maybe the feature a little bit, but not the 6x6 because you're just going wide open and trying to win.
You're kind of watching the laps, though, aren't you?
No, not really. You're just you're watching the flag man as you go by, but I mean you know in your head how many laps you're going and how hard you need to run versus how somebody behind you.
One question I've asked some of the 6x6 drivers that are, I mean, you would almost expect Steve Carlson, yourself, Sean Paff, Todd Korish, Matt Henderson. I mean, there's about 8 or 9 of you that we can expect to see there week after week. When you're in the 6x6 dash, how much of an advantage do you have getting ready for a feature when it comes to setting up your car? Because you have the ultimate time to run 6 laps to say, all right, tire pressures, if you look at the entire way you would set your car up for a feature, does the 6x6 help you do that beyond just hot lapping at the beginning of the night?
It does. You've got 6 laps. At the end of the 6 laps, you probably have a pretty good idea what your car is going to do for the night, even though it's early in the night, and the track will change a little bit between then and the feature time race. But you get an idea where you need to be.
And 25 laps is a lot different than 6, too. If you set up for 6 laps for the feature, your car's going to probably go away around lap 20.
Like I said, by the end of 6 laps, you usually got a pretty good idea what you have for the night, if you can adjust on it from there on.
There you go.
Past couple of years, you've just been on the outside looking in when it comes to dash points and dash championships, and you kind of find yourself in the driver's seat this year because Steve Carlson's 20 back. Of course, these are based on positions of the way you finish. And Steve has said he's not going to be here for every race this year, so you're kind of in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, like I said, we're just taking it one race at a time, letting things play out the way they are. We typically haven't been a good qualifying team, this year seems to be a little bit different. Hopefully we can keep it up.
All right, Brent Kirchner, our guest in the program, the City Auto Sales number 8. He's got a teammate this year that we're going to talk about here in the next segment, which has made things interesting at the track this year since we've got about 5 sets of teammates running this year, and we're going to talk more about that and Brent's racing program here June 12th in Milwaukee. This is the Seven Rivers Racing Show on KQEG TV.